That's how you bounce back, baby. Consistency.
Time they made a run, we answered. We stepped up to the challenge. Our defense, we were in there. We self-corrected when we needed to. All right, we communicated on the floor, multiple levels of effort. We were connected on both ends of the floor.
After 2 tough losses that had fans doubting their direction, the Indiana Fever stepped onto their home court at Gainbridge Fieldhouse with the pressure mounting. Caitlin Clark made her return from injury, and reports of friction between her and coach Stephanie White were still fresh. Adding to the tension were lingering comments from Brittany Griner after their last matchup. But instead of folding under the spotlight, the Fever delivered a statement performance, overpowering the Atlanta Dream 99-82, and reminding everyone why they're still a serious contender.
Man, I think that everyone saw that we kind of got some flow when Kate was hurt and our offense was clicking. But now we have to have a new offense when she's in there because she just brings that much to the game. And so we have to adjust. And I think all of us just want it now. We know what the potential of this team can be, but we can't think about that. You really have to take day to day and stuff that worked here, we need to carry it over to tomorrow's game. We have a lot of games coming up in I think like 7 days or whatnot, and so it's mentally making sure that we're good, it's physically making sure we're getting recovery, making sure we're taking care of our bodies off the court, but we're trying to figure it out, and I think you guys see it. I think we're all a little frustrated.
Imagine this. The Indiana Fever had just suffered 2 losses in games they were expected to control, leaving fans questioning whether their season was unraveling. Defeats to the LA Sparks and the Golden State Valkyries weren't just routine setbacks, they were glaring signals that something was off with this team. The trouble began when Caitlin Clark went down with a groin injury, and Dewana Dantas missed time while representing Brazil in international play. Suddenly, the Fever's lineup was thrown into chaos. Players who had found their groove were forced into new roles, and rotations that once worked smoothly no longer made sense. Frustration started creeping in, and it was obvious every time they stepped onto the court.
I've alluded to it earlier, but how difficult has it been? Does it feel like you guys have had to toggle back and forth between identities with you spent like Caitlin out, Caitlin's back, Caitlin out now, back and forth sort of thing?
Yeah, and it's no one's fault. I mean, no one wants to see anyone injured, right? And it's when she is playing with us, we play a different style of basketball, and it's almost like 2 different teams, right? When she's with us, you play a different style. When she's hurt, which hopefully she's done being hurt, Lord, please hear us. And then we play a whole nother different style, but I do think that once we catch rhythm with her in, we're going to be really, really good, but we can't just keep saying it. You got to put your money where your mouth is.
Coach Stephanie White wanted the Fever to slow the game down, grind out possessions, control the tempo, and play methodically, but Caitlin Clark had a different vision. She was pushing for a fast-paced offense that would highlight her exceptional court awareness and passing skills. This wasn't just a simple difference of opinion. It was a core disagreement about the team's identity. The Fever often looked like 2 completely different squads depending on whether Clark was on the floor. During the recent losses, that disconnect reached a breaking point. Players appeared uncertain about their roles, and the crisp ball movement that once defined this team had vanished. Clark's shooting struggles made the situation worse. She hit just 28.9% from the field and a cold 11.4% from three-point range over 5 games. Behind the scenes, things got even more tense. Reports surfaced of heated practice discussions between Clark and Coach White more than routine coaching talks. These were intense, team-wide confrontations about strategy and roles. The pressure was building day by day, and it became clear that something had to change before the Fever completely came apart.
We're a great team, the Valkyries, but it's not to our standard, and so we need to, we're running out of time, to be honest, and I think that it's going to light a fire under our butts, and so hopefully you'll see kind of that energy shift.
What happened next in the game against the Atlanta Dream would define the Fever's entire season. The moment was set for one of 2 outcomes, either a complete collapse or the kind of breakthrough performance that forges champions. At this point, it wasn't just about basketball anymore. It was about whether the Fever could rise above their internal conflicts and finally prove to the world what they're truly capable of.
We're trying to figure out what's clicking, what's not clicking, what works for us defensively. But at the end of the day, I think what we can hang our hat on is not getting outworked, making sure that we're the aggressors, making sure that we're getting boards, controlling what we can control. And I think we need to do a better job at that. And if we can do that, I think stuff offensively will open up for us.
You won't believe what happened in that locker room at halftime. The conversation between Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White that nobody was supposed to hear about, the first half against Atlanta, wasn't going according to plan, and you could see the frustration building on both sides of the court. The Fever looked disjointed again, struggling with the same issues that had plagued them during those embarrassing losses.
There were people at the game that have told me that this happened and they saw it. So, Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White were having a heated discussion at halftime.
Sources close to the team revealed that Caitlin Clark spoke openly and forcefully during the halftime break. She voiced her concerns about specific players and called for adjustments to the rotation. According to reports, Clark urged coach Stephanie White to sit Kelsey, Mitchell, and Nolissa Smith, pointing out that their lack of passing was disrupting the team's offensive flow. This wasn't just casual feedback, it was a direct challenge to the way the Fever were running their offense and a bold statement about the root of their ball movement. Struggles?
We're in the street as Caitlin Clark told White to sit Kelsey, Mitchell, and Howard because they don't pass. Could be true. Caitlin went to tire shoe. Like, that is something that I noticed. Like, Caitlin literally, when Natasha Howard had the ball, she didn't even look. She was basically walking back on defense. She essentially walked back on defense every time Natasha Howard had the ball. And by the way, if you guys didn't see Natasha Howard looked off Caitlin Clark to end the third quarter. She looked off Caitlin Clark to end the third quarter in what was just incredibly...
The exchange became so intense that players on the bench could hear voices rising from the coaching area. It was clear to everyone that this was a pivotal moment, a make-or-break situation for the entire team. The atmosphere was heavy, and you could sense that something significant was about to unfold. This wasn't a routine strategy meeting. It was a crucial confrontation that would shape the course of the Fevers.
Look, Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White clearly like and respect one another, right? But that doesn't mean they always see eye to eye. And I am beginning to suspect more and more that there's a bit of a divide between the way that they see the game and the way that they think the Indiana Fever should play.
What set this conversation apart was that Clark wasn't just pointing out problems, she was providing clear solutions. She showed the leadership that has defined her rise to stardom, diagnosing exactly what was wrong with the team's offensive rhythm and addressing it head-on with her coach. In that moment, Stephanie White faced a critical decision: stick to her original game plan and hope for a turnaround, or trust her star player's instincts and make the necessary adjustments. The beauty of this moment wasn't in the conflict, it was in watching two fierce competitors, both determined to win, come together to figure out how to make it happen.
You can just hear what they have to say and connect the dots a little bit. Not to mention, it didn't go well against the Golden State Valkyries. That was obvious to everybody, of course. Just a rough performance from the Fever. And on its own, that wouldn't be that big a deal. Clark just back, getting her acclimated, all those things. But it's these repeated statements or this issue that seems to be lingering under the surface when it comes to the team's offensive identity that is interesting.
The real test came in the second half, when it became clear whether that intense halftime conversation would translate into results on the court. But that heated exchange wasn't a sign of dysfunction, it was the turning point where a good team started becoming a great one. The chemistry forged in that moment of raw honesty laid the groundwork for everything that followed, and when it came to motivation, the Fever didn't forget. The memory of Brittany Griner's disrespectful comments about Caitlin Clark was still fresh. The last time these teams faced off, Griner didn't just play hard, she crossed the line with words that had no place in professional basketball. The Fever carried that with them as they stepped onto the court for their revenge game against the Atlanta Dream, ready to make a statement and settle the score.
But we have heard nothing from the WNBA, absolutely nothing.
Brittany Griner elbowing Caitlin Clark in a crazy way and then calling her a trash white girl.
And Brittany Griner has not commented, which I find significant. I've watched that video countless times, and it sure looks like Brittany Griner says, white girl.
The WNBA should investigate Brittany Griner's seemingly uttering profanities about white girl.
Walking into this game, you could feel the extra motivation in the air as the Fever players rallied around their teammates who had been unfairly targeted. This wasn't just another regular season game anymore. It was personal. The entire team knew they had something to prove, and they were ready to send a message that you don't mess with their chemistry and expect to get away with it. Loud, but it's really loud tonight. Mark the hesitation, draws a foul, lays it in, and won. Caitlin Clark. Sophie Cunningham stepped up in a massive way, recording a double-double with 16 points and 10 rebounds. While playing with the kind of intensity that sends a clear message, Cunningham's energy and determination were visible on every possession. She was diving for loose balls, fighting for rebounds, and making sure everyone knew the Fever weren't going to be intimidated by anyone. Her performance was a direct response to what happened in their previous meeting.
But it's really loud tonight. Clark, the hesitation, draws a foul, lays it in, and one, Caitlin Clark.
Dribble penetration has been an issue for Indiana in defending that. They got to do a better job of guarding the ball and not worrying about the action.
A hot, cold season for the Fever defensively as Mitchell slashes home a three. Here going in the first half. Joel does the handle underneath. Still 6 of 10 from the three-point line. Jordan Canada here tonight. Mitchell turns the corner, gets inside, bounces. Howard flips it. Now here is Clark. Eyes ahead. Lob inside. Finds Boston right on the money.
I just love it. I really do think this is a really unique and special team. In the locker room, we really do love each other. Like, we love spending time together. Our practices, I'm not going to lie, are long. And sometimes we have to hold hands and be like, hey, we're going to get through it. But this is a team that I have never felt like this in the W. And I've been in it for 7 years. I know you've been in it for 8, you know. And so this is a special group that we have. And so when we can just go out there and have fun and be competitors and feed off of each other, it's just easy. And when people are smiling, like, you don't ever see Kels really get like that. But when we see her get like that, we're like, oh, yeah, like we're in it. You know what I mean? And when other teams see that, it's game over. And so we're our best when we're having. Our team kind of got into groove, honestly, when Kate got hurt. And we were playing good offense, good defense, but we're a whole different team when she is in. And so we have to learn how to adjust, how to get her involved, how to keep people who are hot. And so just kind of learning that and then staying consistent in that. But the things that we can control is our effort, our energy, boxing out, defensive scouts, and that's what we got to hang our hat on. Yeah, I mean, it feels good. I think that our team has enough offensive threats that we should have 5 to 6 people in double figures every single night when we move the ball. When the ball is popping, we're a really hard team to guard. Again, we have to be disciplined on defense. We can get easy buckets in transition, but I think offensively, when the ball is popping, we're a hard team to guard in the W. All starts with communication. It really starts really at practice with defensive scout, locking in, knowing personnel, and we haven't been very good at that this year. You've seen spurts of it that we are really good, but again, our word is like consistency, together and consistency. And so for us, it's being aggressive at the point of attack. And I really do think that when we're aggressive from the jump, it sets a tone for the whole game. And so sucks to suck. It's on the starting 5 to kind of do that. So good luck, Kels. But I really do think that when we're in it together and we're aggressive on both ends, we're just a really tough team.